Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're checking out the TideWe HR-F700 hunting rangefinder. But before we jump into the details on this guy, if you don't know who I am, my name is Dubb, and I want to welcome you to Dubb Outdoors. Now, if you like this video and you want to see more videos like this one, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you do, hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of my latest reviews. Now, with that said, let's check it out. Now, first things first, let's take a look at the design and let me give you a quick tour of this rangefinder. Now, right up front, you're gonna notice that it does come with a real tree camouflage pattern on here with a black kind of textured grip, which makes it really easy to grip, which is awesome. You also have some additional grip on the earpiece itself, which is used because you can dial this in and focus it for your eye, which is really nice, especially if you've got, everyone's eyes look a little bit different, and it'll help you focus in on what you're seeing at a distance. But I want to cover that because there is a small issue that I noticed with this that I will flag here momentarily, so stick with me. On top here, you've got the power on button right there, and you also have the mode button, which lets you cycle through the different modes, which I will cover again also in just one second. On the front here, you've got all of your lenses and everything ready to go, and then you've got some TideWe branding on the side here, and on the back, under this little flip door, you do have a USB-C charging port, and right here, I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's a little LED light which will indicate the charging level when it is being charged. So everything you get right here, it's really straightforward. It looks really nice. It's very compact, fits in my hand very easily. So it's a really nice, well done design. Now, in the packaging, you also get this little lanyard, which you can choose to attach or not. I chose to do it. I just think it's a nice little thing. Might help you get it in and out of your pack. It does also come with this actually a really nice, well-made little pouch, which comes with, it's got a belt loop on the back, and it's magnetically sealed and closed. Now, what's nice is that they've done a really good job with the materials. It's very quiet, right? So if you're gonna be taking this out and putting it back in the field, this might help you just kind of avoid making too much noise. It does make a little bit of noise, but it's better than like a snap, but it might not be quite as secure. The magnets do feel very strong, so I don't imagine this thing's gonna be falling out. Just keep in mind that it is magnetically sealed, and if you're crawling around on the ground, just be aware of that. But at the end of the day, it's a really nice little accessory that it comes with as well. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about some of the features, and then I will tell you what I think. Now, the first thing I will mention is there are two models that TideWe makes. They make the F700 and the F1000. Now, this goes up to 700 yards measurement. The other one goes up to 100 yards measurement. I'll put links to both of them down in the description below if you want to check it out depending on your needs. And if you want to spend a little bit more to bump up to that 1,000 yard, there is an option for that. I picked the HR-700 mostly because 700 yards is beyond what I need it for at this time. I don't know, so much measuring the distances in that range, but if you wanted to get a bigger one, there is a bigger model. But this guy can do from as low as 3 yards all the way up to 700 yards, and the other one can do up to from 3 yards all the way up to 1,000 yards. So they definitely have you covered on the range, and it is actually pretty darn accurate. Now, when it comes to accuracy, they say that it is plus or minus 1 yard. Now, I did some measuring in the backyard. I've done some testing in the front. I was running around the house and in the neighborhood, just kind of measuring out the actual distance and then measuring using the FR700. And to be honest with you, I didn't notice even a yard of difference. It was very, very accurate as long as you're actually making sure to point at what you want to hit, right? It is a kind of a larger reticle, so you do have to make sure that you're touching on the exact location of the item that you're trying to measure to. So when you're right on, it does a great job. It's very, very accurate. I would say almost perfectly. The performance of the HR-700 is fantastic. Now, as far as other features, this does have 6x magnification, so it does a pretty good job of bringing things a little bit closer. Now, if you're used to a scope on a rifle or a bow or anything, you're using a scope in any way, shape, or form, you're probably gonna have more magnification than that. This is just gonna get you kind of in that general direction. So what I would recommend is for things at a very long distance, try and find something of substance nearby, or anything you can do to kind of get a good pinpoint on your location and your distance. But it does a great job when you're, like I said, when you're reaching out and hitting the right spot. So now let's talk about what this thing is actually capable of, right? We've talked about 6x magnification. This one is a 700-yard measurement. Now, it does a little bit more than just measure distance. You can also have it measure angle, which is a really, really great feature, and you can actually measure speed. So if you're actually following a moving target, it will actually help you measure the speed at which that target is moving. Now, this is a really, I was actually honestly surprised. When I purchased this, I was planning on it just being for measurements of distance, and I got a little bit of extra bonus here. Now, I've done a little bit of recording. What I tried to do is actually record what was going on through the lens to show you kind of cycling through some of those modes, which I'll show you here. But one thing I do want to mention is that you also have one, if you just push the power button, which is also your actual, I would say your trigger to actually take a measurement. If you hold it down, you can actually take continuous measurements. But I also found if you double tap, it will actually lock into automatic measuring mode. Now, this will obviously run down the battery quicker, so just be careful using that feature in that way. But if you want a nice continuous measurement, just constantly measuring the changing distances and things like that, double tap will lock you into that mode. Double tapping again will pull you out of that mode. So it's a really, really great feature. Now, I talk about battery life. One thing I will mention is that this thing can do 20,000 measurements on a full charge. So at the end of the day, this is gonna last you a really long time on a single charge. You should be able to get through most of your hunting trip, if not all of it. I mean, come on, realistically, using 20,000 measurements on this guy. So again, battery life, really, really well done. Now, the great thing is it does come with a USB-C charger, which is becoming more and more common, especially on phones. So if you have your phone charger and it's USB-C, that's interchangeable, but it does come with a USB-C cable in the box as well. So you're good to go there. And last but not least, if you're concerned about durability, it does come with an IP54 rating for both water and dust resistance. So waterproof, I wouldn't submerge it in water. Rain, sprinkling, mist, fog, drop it in the dirt, getting it dusty, rolling around on the ground, you're probably gonna be totally fine. It's not completely sealed entirely, right? I wouldn't submerge it. I wouldn't throw it in a muddy bog. I wouldn't throw it in the swamp and hope that it's gonna continue to work. But at the end of the day, this is gonna be able to take a little bit of abuse from you. So if you're, an average hunter, I would say, out on the go and you're taking this with you, banging it around a little bit, out in the misty mornings, you're probably gonna be just fine. Again, at a budget price point, it's a pretty solid rating. Now, when I say budget price point, what am I actually talking about? Well, the HR-700 at the time of making this video comes in at $79.99 on Amazon in the US, so 80 bucks. Bump it up 20 bucks, gets you the HR-F1000, which is $99.99 at the time of making this video. Again, as usual, I'll put the links down in the description below. You guys can go check out the current pricing. But my final verdict on this guy, 700-yard measurement, continuous measuring mode, speed calculations, angle calculations, water, dust resistancy, an awesome little pouch, and everything that I need included, matched with fantastic accuracy. I would say that 80 bucks is a steal of a deal. In comparison to all the name brands out there, there's some really expensive, super, super nice equipment. However, if you just need something it's gonna get you through, it's gonna do the job, it's gonna accurately measure, I would say this is a solid, solid purchase. That would be my verdict on this guy here. One other thing that I do wanna mention is the eyepiece here. Now, very comfortable, it does a really great job. You can use the twist action here to focus it in. One thing that I wasn't a big fan of is that the LCD screen for the measurements itself is on the other side of the focusing mechanism. Now what that means is, let's just say I'm looking out and it's something in the distance, right? And I wanna bring that into focus and then I wanna do a measurement. If I focus in on that, it will change the focus on the LCD screen on the unit. So I might be focused in on something way out there, but completely out of focus on the measurement screen itself. Now, the issue there is, in kind of the workaround for that, is to measure in, focus in on what I'm trying to see, hit my measurement button, but then I have to unfocus to make sure I can see the screen clearly to get the measurement. So it's definitely a negative point on this guy here, but I think it's not, for me, it wasn't a deal breaker, right? The stuff I'm measuring is generally going to be beyond 50, 75 yards, and I don't need to adjust the focus on this guy to make that visible for me. So I didn't run into this problem just in my measurement testing, but I did kind of notice it when I was really extending way out there to do some measurements. So something to look out for when you're checking this guy out. But I'm always curious to hear what you guys think. Do you think, after everything you've seen here, do you think this is worth it for 80 bucks or 100 bucks for the 1,000 yard one? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, hit me up down there. I try to reply to as many comments as I possibly can. But as usual, guys, that is it for me, and I will see you in the next review.